I know there's a lot of mixed information out there about Etsy's not worth it. Etsy's a great place to start. You need your own website. I am pro having both. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany, the maker behind Ginger Patch Designs, and today I'm answering everybody's questions that they submitted on YouTube and over on Instagram. When applicable, I will leave links down in the description below if it's like for supplies, or I think there were only questions about supplies as far as posting links, but I will share as much as I can down in the description below. And if you're wondering why I'm filming right here, because I never film right here in front of my closet, it's because I wanted to film outside, but I live on a street where if somebody's mowing, everybody's mowing, and apparently that day is today. And then over here is a extra table that I've set up stacked with all the vintage tote bag in progress stacks. And then over here is a giant pile of I don't know what to do with, but I'm not ready to work on it yet. If you craft, you know what I mean. And so my room is just kind of a disaster, which is why I wanted to go outside. So let's dive right in. Kalia, I should have prefaced that I'm sorry if I mispronounce the names. Kalia Finds over on Instagram said, do you ever get bored making the same thing over and over? I struggle with that. And have you ever thought of doing a tutorial on crochet, something simple? I do get bored as far as the crochet stuff sometimes. I have crafty ADD. I will start working on something, batch making something, and then move to something else and then circle back. Like I always finish it, but I do get sick of it. The crochet is just kind of an ongoing thing behind the scenes. Even though I haven't been filming a whole lot of crochet, I'm working on crochet every week. I did it this morning while my daughter was at the library while she was like looking for books and stuff. As far as other stuff, I really don't get sick of it because it's always something different. Like day to day, I'm always working on different things. So not really. As far as a crochet tutorial, I did a few of these. Honestly, I think they're still up on my YouTube when I first started and I was trying to like get my YouTube footing, so to speak. They were okay, if I'm being honest. I do have the tutorial that goes along with the crochet kit. Oh, yep, here they are. These are the crochet kits. I had aspirations of, they're the like strawberry cow, white and black Jersey cow. I had aspirations of 3 crochet kits this year, and I know I keep talking about this. I really don't know if they're gonna come out this year. I have a 4th pattern that I wrote down. I don't have time. Like it takes me so long to get stuff done around here, and I'm trying to strike while the iron's hot with all the trendy sewing stuff. And then if you're not new here, you know that all of these vintage fabrics got given to me. And so I'm just trying to capitalize on that while I have it. And so that's kind of where my focus has been instead of crochet. But it's not out of the question. I still 100% love crochet. Cindy asked, I'm wondering why you do not buy a bolt of fabric that you use often, like for the linings. Many quilt stores will give a discount for purchasing the whole bolt. You are correct. I was actually just about to start doing that with the linings right when I got all of this vintage fabric. So I do plan to do that in the future. Way back in 2020 when I was making masks during the C word that I'm not sure if we're allowed to say yet here on YouTube, I was buying in bolts when I could. I'm just very, very cautious of overspending. I am not selling on a level that would warrant me buying bolts and bolts and bolts at a time. I mean, I hope to get to that point. I'm just being completely honest. And so I'm very wary of overspending. I don't want to be stuck with, because a bolt can be like, what, $120, $150 plus per bolt. And so that's just a huge chunk of change from month to month that I'm trying to watch the expenses. Disney Girl Jamie asked, what is the best and safest / cheapest online source to use when first starting my business? That's a great question. Etsy, Shopify, Wix, tips for that first post of a product made and how to go about it. I am not an expert on any of these. I've had Etsy since 2016 when I first started Ginger Patch Designs, and it was really, really helpful to kind of just learn how to sell online, how to make a listing, just how to do it all online. Now, Etsy has been through a lot of changes over the years. They recently released a new update, really getting more strict on unique handmade. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can look up the newest policies that they've released. I only had a Shopify in the last 2 years, I think, and I love Shopify. I think it's very affordable. I think I pay about $40 a month, and the shipping rates are comparable to that of like Pirate Ship or the same rates you would get on Etsy. It's a discounted rate than just going into the post office and paying it postage, right? I know there's a lot of mixed information out there about Etsy's not worth it. Etsy's a great place to start. You need your own website. I am pro having both. I think Etsy has the built-in algorithm, the built-in shopper base, which is always a plus. And on the flip side of that, having your own website, you have your own control. You can make it whatever you want. My initial goal when I started my website is I just wanted something that was mine, that I could make myself, that I could feed traffic to from markets, from in-person, local sales, whatever. And as long as it paid for itself per month, which it did, then I was fine paying that $40-something a month. And you can honestly, when you first sign up, I think you can get like 2 or 3 months free. Another pro con, depending on how you look at it, Etsy is very straightforward in like building your store. Like there's literally, you can do it in an hour or two. It's because they already have the website or your site built for you. You just make the listings and you put up a profile picture and you fill out your policies, and like that's it. Whereas Shopify, you are starting from nothing and you literally have to build your website. And if you don't know how to do that, that can be a lot. That is a huge learning curve. They do have templates, and there's many, many very lengthy, in-depth tutorials out there that will walk you through that. Beyond giving you the pros and the cons of using the platforms, I don't feel like I am your gal for telling you more about how to like build your website. You would have to do some more digging on your own, but takeaway, there's value in both. If you don't know where to start, I would start on Etsy, if I'm being completely honest. Just because you will learn a lot through the process. And then when you're ready, maybe explore Shopify. I've never used Wix. I'm a Shopify girly. One more quick note about Shopify. Shopify is really known for their apps and their integrations. Again, I don't know if Wix or other platforms have that as well, but they are like the website platform for small businesses out there. So Marcy asks, which sticker paper do you use? That's a great question. I have only ever used one kind, and it is the HTV Ront printable vinyl sticker paper. I will put it down in the description below. I use the glossy kind. I think they have matte, but I'll go ahead and also link the laminating sheets that I use for the top. And let me tell you how good these laminating sheets are. So I did a test one time with my stickers, a dishwasher test. I did a glass jar, like a mason jar, a tumbler, like whatever that material texture is on the outside, and a plastic cup. So glass, tumbler, plastic. And I put them all the way through the wash, dry cycle, and everything. None of them stuck to the objects. They are not waterproof stickers. But there was no bleed whatsoever. Like, so they didn't stick to the cups, any of the materials, but they came off, they looked brand new, just like I just printed them, which was very interesting. And so that's why I market them as water resistant, not waterproof. And then when we're at markets, I just make sure and tell people like they're not dishwasher safe, but I don't really think people put these on cups anymore, you know? Angie asked, are you gonna sell the vintage fabric totes on your website? I loved all of them. Girl, yes. I think this video is gonna come out after the prepping and or the planning video and the prepping video. I'm shooting for the very beginning of July. And so keep an eye on that. Again, if you're not following me on Instagram, I'll be posting more up-to-date updates on Instagram. Nurin asked, I keep sewing my top stitch for my zipper skew. Any tips? I think it's because of the bulk at the bottom. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Top stitching the zipper askew. So I iron my layers down, like I'm assuming you mean like after you get your layers before you actually start sewing the body of the bag together. You're doing the top stitching, like the straight top stitch. So I iron both the top side and then flip it over, and I iron the underside of the zippers to like smooth that fabric out of the way. And then when I'm sewing, I've just like it's more with my fingers. I almost do it without even thinking about it. So I have to think like how I do it. Like the way I guide the fabric through the feed dogs and everything, I can feel if it's bunched. But ironing before you put it through for your top stitching, I usually have no problems. Jennifer asked, how did you know you should start a YouTube page? Girl, I've been thinking about it a while, but can't do it. Yes, you can. If I can do it, you can do it. Like, I'm just giggling because if you are new here, I used to teach middle school, like 7th grade, junior high. Yeah, I know, I'm a superwoman. Every time I tell people that, they're like, oh. The answer is, I didn't know. The reason that I started a YouTube page was twofold. I wanted to get more visibility on my business because I felt like visibility was my biggest hurdle. And number two was as a supplement. My goal was to become monetized so that I could supplement my income in the months. Because if you are a small business owner and you are humble and modest financially like me, you have good months and you have bad months. And so I wanted YouTube to kind of help cushion the finances, especially in those the winter months, like after Christmas especially. And so I knew when I was leaving the classroom, I was leaving my career, that I couldn't just rely on sales. That's how I knew that I was gonna make a YouTube page. And once I made up my mind that that was a must, and that was what a must for me and what I wanted to do, then I just dove headfirst into research and notes and listening and just becoming a sponge for how to do this properly. What I'm about to tell you, Jennifer, is probably not what you want to hear, but you need to hear. You need to just do it. If you want to do it, just do it. The fantastic thing about YouTube is it doesn't cost you anything to start. Yes, I have a camera now. I have a really nice tripod. I've made some updates, but I am a year in, and I did not make those purchases until I was sure that I was going to stick with it and it was going to be worth the expense. Now, spending $800 on a camera to some people is like nothing, but for us, with me not having a consistent, salary anymore, that's a big purchase. And so I started on my phone. Now, please, by all means, you can watch any of my videos, but you don't have to go watch the first ones. They're horrible. But if you want to feel better about like how far I've come, go all the way back and watch some of my first videos. They're awful. And I'm laughing because it's true. Your first few videos are going to be awful. Just keep going. You will learn, and you will eventually, start to get comfortable with it and learn and move on. And people will jive with it. People, I feel like, y'all correct me in the comments, and you will learn that people just really like you to be genuine and honest. And that's why I really stopped overthinking, like trying to do fancy edits and like I need to like spend all this time editing my videos and to try and make them more appealing, when people are just here for the value you're giving them. Like, what am I going to learn from your video or from you? They're more concerned with that, I think, than all the fancy schmancy. You know, the fancy schmancy's fun and that's great, but girl, I ain't got time for that. I'm a one-woman show over here, so stop overthinking it and just do it. And Jennifer, if you do end up making a page, make sure you drop the page down in the comments so we can all go support you. Okay, Marcy says, love your videos. I got my fabric from Hobby Lobby too. Michael's is selling fabric too, not all of them. Question, can you share what sticker paper you do use? Marcy also asked about sticker paper. The links for those are down in the description below. If you meant the sticker paper that I started to use for my shipping stickers, I've purposely not put those in the Amazon storefront because like I'm not like 100% on them yet. So I'm like, meh. I'm not gonna put them in there yet. I might try a different kind. Ellen asks, what sewing machine do you use? I have a Brother Innovis 1500D. I think Brother still makes the Innovis, but I don't know if they make the 1500D specifically. Still, I do know that when I purchased it, it was slightly marked down because they were discontinuing that particular model, but I love it. If I didn't have a Brother, I would probably go with Juki or Janome. Those are some of the top brands, but I've had my Brother for 10 years. I get it cleaned professionally annually, and it's like butter. Ellen also asked, how do you get a design custom printed? This was on a sewing video, so I'm assuming you mean on fabric? Let me know in the comments if that was not correct. A spoon flower. It does cost more, but it's great quality. It's reasonable turnaround time for custom printed fabric. And the thing that I love about spoon flower, you can either upload your own designs on there, or there are artists on spoon flower that you can browse all of their artwork and get it printed. And that's where I got a few of the prints from the Blush and Boots collection. And it's just, I mean, anyone can go get it, but it's less likely you're gonna see those everywhere because it does cost more, and they're so beautiful. The designs on spoon flower are top tier, so beautiful, and you can literally buy it in any type of fabric that you want. Do those handles for rulers really work? Does it keep the ruler from sliding when you're cutting? Yes. Yes, I have scratched like this part just above my cuticles so many times from trying to like pick up the ruler, and it's driven me nuts. It will come off sometimes, like the suction will like unsuck, that's bad. It will come off sometimes. And so I just like take a little wet paper towel or just put a little bit of moisture on there, and then it sucks really good on there again. So I think for like 12 or 15 bucks there, it's well worth it. Michelle asks, can I get the measurements of everything? Everything. I'd have to go back and look and see what video this was on. It had to be a sewing video. I think I've touched on this before. Here's the thing. I'm an open book to an extent. And nearly everything I make is not novel. Like there's other people out there making like the same stuff I am, right? However, I would say 75% of the sewing stuff that I make, no, more like nearly 90% of what I make, I figured out the measurements myself. So like literally through trial and error and throwing some stuff away. And so, and that's what I sell to make money. The measurements that I came up with are what I sell to make money. So I don't feel comfortable sharing the measurements. However, I can literally only think of like one thing that I actually purchased a pattern for, and I will absolutely share the patterns for that. Like anytime I've shared crochet stuff, I will share the pattern because it's not my design. It's no different than, you know, I'm not gonna share the pattern for this unless you buy the kit because I created it and I'm trying to use it to make money. You know what I mean? The slouchy bag pattern, there's gonna be a small one and a large one that is coming out in the vintage tote bag collection. I did purchase a pattern for that, and it was well worth it because it came with a template that I printed on cardstock, and it was just saved me. I literally bought it, I just needed the template. I knew how to make the rest of it. And it was well worth the purchase. But if I ever don't share stuff in the comments. I'm just trying to protect the integrity of my business. But thank you, Michelle, for your question. She said the shirts, who do you use to do the DTF? I purchased on Ninja a few times, but I actually found a gal close to me. She's like 30 minutes away and she's local. She's just got a little shop out the back of her house, like a little she shed, and I buy from her. And I make all of the apparel you see on my website is not print on demand. I do print it or make it here in-house. I buy the blanks, I buy the prints from her, or if it's sublimation, I print it here and I make it in-house. Hope's Plans says, looks like you are using a CWM planner. I am. Could you please show how you use the planner to keep you on track for your business, mom life, and everything else? That is kind of a loaded question that I feel like I should do a little sew-in chat for on another video, but I will say I started out strong at the beginning of the year using it the way I'm supposed to. If you have a CWM planner, it has these extra pages that are intended to like make you reflect at the end of the month and like kind of categorize your priorities to try and like make you stay on top of things and reflect before moving on, that kind of thing. And I meant well with it. My friend, my really good friend, my really good type A friend gifted this to me because I was complaining that I was not good at doing that stuff. And I have just learned that my brain just doesn't work that way. So I use the planner for home mom life stuff, and then as far as business stuff, I put all if there's a date for anything, like market dates, deadlines, I need to pay this by such and such date, I need to turn my taxes in by such and such date, all of the dates for anything to do in my life is in that planner. Everything else to do with planning for the business, like day-to-day scheduling, notes, to-dos, etc., I use Notion for. Notion is free. I learned about Notion from some other makers that I follow, specifically Mia over at Blush Design Co. Love her. And it's been a game changer. Notion is the way my brain works, for sure. If you haven't checked out Notion, I think that Haley over at XOXO Charlie has a template that she created for small business owners specifically that she uses, and she has mentioned it before. I don't have it, but it looks really fantastic if you want to go check that out on her website. I really hope I'm not boring y'all. I'm usually like, if I'm chatting, I'm like working on something, but I wanted to like really focus on this and not like a task that I'm doing at the same time. So if this one's extra chatty, I'm sorry. So Joyfully Club said, which steps helped your business to grow to be able to do it full time? Ooh, that's good. How do you balance family, chores, and business? Ooh, I think step one is being very, very real with yourself about what you're good at and what your not your weaknesses, but what your lackings are, and what are you gonna do about it? Because other people, I think you'll hear that like, if you set your mind to it, you can do it. And that's true, like 100%. Making your business grow and balancing all the things is a grind, and it looks different from day to day, no matter how you try to set a schedule, especially if you are a parent whose child is at home with you all the time. So pretty much a year and a half ago, when my husband and I decided I was leaving my career, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record if you've been here before, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I knew that I had no idea how to grow my business. Like, it had been a hobby business. I didn't know what to do. And so I immersed myself in learning. I watched videos, I listened to podcasts, I took notes. I have a whole notebook full of categorized notes on like how to grow social media, how to do this, how to do that. Have I done all of it yet? No. But being very adaptable, flexible, and being very realistic with your own expectations. What can you achieve in small increments? Like, by all means, set yourself a goal, but I think being very real with yourself, whatever your product is, and then making a plan of what you're going to do from there. I was really good at doing whatever it took, grinding. I have no problem working my tail off for nothing to try and get to grow my passion, right? What I was not good at was social media. What I was not good at was marketing myself. It's taken a long time of just getting comfortable with being on camera and posting. I'm not sure what kind of answer you were looking for. Like, I think there's a bajillion videos out there that will tell you, like, step one, make sure you invest this, or you can start a business with $100. I'm not gonna tell you that, because it's so dependent on what your product is, what your personal situation is with your family. I was in a very blessed situation where I could leave my job and do this. I'm just being honest. I know how to not spend money when I don't have to, you know? And so God just worked it all out that this was the time for me to do this. And I work in some capacity 7 days a week. When you ask about work-life balance, that's what it looks like a lot of the time. On Sunday afternoons after church, when my daughter is allowed to play her video games, I'm editing videos, or I'm like working on that basket of crochet kitties, or I'm taking my ironing board out into the living room. So I'm still like with my husband, spending time together, but I'm also working on stuff. I don't get burnt out much because I love it, and we're also doing other things. I'm not like working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm working in the pockets of time that I can. So that's how I manage work-life balance. Like this morning, it wasn't warm enough to put up my daughter's inflatable water slide yet. It was like not even 80 degrees yet. So I came in here and worked for like an hour, hour and a half while she played before we went outside, before we went to the library. And now she's at her Gammy's house and I'm filming. So extremely flexible and being extremely real with yourself. That was super long-winded, I'm sorry. Full disclosure, I do not always balance the chores. It's one or the other. Either I'm caught up in here and the laundry's piled up on the couch, or vice versa. The house is clean and I'm drowning in what I need to do in here. I don't always balance that, is the short answer. Friends, I hope that wasn't too terribly long-winded for you. I hope this video is not more than 20 minutes, because I wanted it to just be like short and sweet-ish. But let me know in the comments if you have any other questions that you weren't able to ask previously, and I'll do my best to either answer them in the comments or on a future video. And friends, I will see you later. Bye.